Hey everyone, if you're a regular viewer of my frames and matches, you will know I am generally bad at escaping from snookers. I would even go as far as to say I've lost a couple of frames to not being able to escape from snookers, and certainly some frames have been closer than they should have been because I've been unable to escape from my opponent putting me a snookers at the business end. By the way, there's a special playlist of my frames and matches, which I'll put a link to up here if your device supports it, so you can binge watch them if you really want to. But please watch to the end of this video first before you do that. Thank you very much. So a few weeks back, I set about trying to create a practice routine for escaping from snookers, and that's what this video is about. And by the way, sorry if you can hear some odd noises in the background. My parrot is behind the camera. I mean, she's not operating the camera, but she is behind the camera. I think I made that joke before in a previous video, but ignore that. However, this practice routine is a little bit rough around the edges because I've created it myself, and I could do with your help, so stick around to the end to find out how you can help me perfect it. By the way, if this routine is similar to anything you've seen before or any other routine, it's pure coincidence. I've never looked for a snooker practice routine, nor have I ever been shown one by my coach. So if I've managed to come up with one with similar that you know, then it's just coincidence, but it's fairly simple, so it's not unlikely. At first, I started thinking about what common snookers there are and the common set positions they might be. For example, trying to hit a pack of reds from behind a baulk colour. However, I scrapped that at the moment because I don't feel that those kind of shots are that detrimental to my snooker at the moment, because, okay, I might miss and leave my opponent in, but they're unlikely, well, depending on who I'm playing, they're unlikely to make a huge break, and the 4 points is probably not going to make a huge difference. More often, I have trouble with the snookers when there's only one object ball to hit. So when there's only one red left, or when we're on the colours, these kind of shots play a much more key role in my frames than any other kind of snooker. So it's this phase of the frame that I want this practice routine to concentrate on. What I love about this routine is its simplicity. You simply start off with a red on the black spot, the blue on its own spot, and the cue ball on the brown spot. You give yourself a score of 20 points on the scoreboard, and then you play the opening shot, which is essentially trying to hit the red from the brown spot with the blue in the way. And this is the only shot that really should be the same every time. If you don't hit the red, you lose 4 points. On this basic version of the routine, regardless of whether you hit the red or not on that opening shot, you play your next shot wherever the cue ball and the red finish up. And what you do is you move the blue so it's halfway between the two balls and a full ball snooker. And the idea is to see how many shots it takes you to run out of points, obviously losing 4 points every time you miss. So you're allowed 4 misses, basically. The only exception to playing the shot from where the cue ball and the red land is that if they're too close to each other to actually put the blue between them, then you reset everything back to their starting positions and play from there. So now you know the basics of the routine, let's take a look at me having a go at this routine. Now, I have been working on some alternative or some modifying rules. So it could be that in this particular example, I was working on some modifying rules. So the points maybe don't quite work out in terms of when I actually run out of 20 points, because I was working on some modifiers where you could maybe lose more points or you could maybe get points back. And I can't actually remember. So there it is. I hope you think it's a good routine and you give it a go at your own club. As I say, I've been working on some rule modifications to add another dimension to the little routine. But for now, I wanted to share the basic routine with you. But I do think it needs a bit more rules, maybe to add or lose extra points. So let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas for modifiers of your own, and I'll take some of the best ones and give them a try. And hopefully we'll come up with a definitive rule set to play. Before I tell you about some of the modifiers I've been working on, please do like the video if you do, and if you like the routine. And if you like this video and you've made it this far, chances are you're probably going to like other stuff that I do, so why not subscribe to the channel and put the bell on to be notified when I do an upload. So one modifying rule I've been working on, and is the rule set I've been playing the most of all, is mainly for people who really want to learn angles, and basically it involves repeating the shot if you miss it. So use a ball marker on the cue ball. I use a little plastic ball marker like this. It's from my straight cueing tool. And if you miss the ball, simply put the cue ball back and have another go. But maybe instead of losing 4 points for your miss, lose 1 point for your first miss, lose 2 points for your second miss, and lose 3 points for your third miss, etc., etc. And hopefully you'll start to tune your angles in. Or if you actually want to make it more of a challenge because you're a bit more used to getting out of snookers, why not consider modifiers that make it a little bit more difficult? In particular, ones that focus on the outcome of the escape. So if you manage to pot the red, you get some points back. Or if you manage to leave it in a snooker, or if you manage to leave it in a snooker yourself, come here. I had to bring her over, she was getting on my wick. Where was I? Or if you manage to escape from the snooker and leave it snookered naturally, then you get 4 points back. But if you miss the snooker and leave it in a free ball situation, then you lose double points. Anyway, for now, I'm going to keep practicing it. It's probably not one I'm going to film very often because it's not perhaps the most interesting routine to put on camera. But I thought you'd like to see it and give it a go yourself. Let me know how you get on in the comments. And again, let me know of any rule modifiers you think might be worth trying. And between us, we'll hopefully come up with a definitive rule set. Have you got any suggestions? No, I didn't think so. Keep quiet. For now, though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Really?